Almost live from the parking lot, the sweltering parking lot of wherever it was we got here.
We're in Sacramento at Sprouts.
Constance looks lovely today.
I'm sweltering too.
She's sweltering too, but for her, it's a
I like
glow.
Sweat's good. It's cleansing.
So we're only about 20 minutes late here this morning. So we're doing pretty good, but it's going to be a hot day in Sacramento.
There were heat warnings.
There were heat warnings, and my body is just experiencing another one right now. But I look good. But anyway, Constance is here, and she's wearing a very special shopping outfit today. So I'm going.
Let's not say special.
It's special, and I'm going to turn this around.
It's my sweater that I got last year from the Goodwill, but
well, I haven't turned it around yet. Let's see here. There you are.
My sweater from the Goodwill. But that's not it. It's that
Can I?
Believe it or not, it goes below the knee, so you can't really. It's sort of a gauzy, see-through thing for summer, and has really cool little. You can't see them, buttons on each side. Anyway, it's a reason I'm talking about this is because it's a dress. In 1975, we were experiencing some extreme poverty, among other things we were experiencing.
One of our many
and
ongoing.
I managed to buy a Vogue pattern, and there were many fabric shops in Costa Mesa at the time because people did things then, and I got I got this fabric that I'm wearing, and some other and white one, and a couple other. I got 2 Vogue patterns and enough cloth for like 4 dresses, and mailed them to my mother in Nebraska, who was still vigorous and ambitious and wanting to do something for me. So I mailed them to her, and she turned them into 4 dresses anyway, summer dresses. And I was very pleased, and I wore them all to rags, except this one, which for some reason I liked a whole lot and saved it.
And it
so
still looks
it's a
good.
little thinner than it used to be, so I've got it over leggings and things. But anyway, and I have to wear the sweater because even though it's sweltering, it's freezing in the stores where I'm going.
The stores are chilly.
So anyway, this dress is from 1975.
Wow.
Why doesn't everybody do that?
It's 1970. That was before a lot of people's grandparents were born.
I can't help that. But anyway, well, it kind of leads to what I'm talking about. Lon's talking about something today.
Okay. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
I've got an episode, Lon.
I'm having an episode.
Oh, anyway, I thought I'd talk about. I read. I'm reading a book by a disciple of Vivekananda, who is a disciple of Ramakrishna. Anyway, so it's warm, so it's good to be a Hindu when it's warm.
Yeah.
You be a Tibetan Buddhist when it's really cold, and then a Hindu
Yeah, it makes me feel like eating marigolds.
Yeah. Anyway. Anyway, and we have in Thelema we have a saying, the accomplishment of the great work, which always kind of makes me, well, even things about Thelema will make me cringe. The accomplishment, it means I have to do something, even though it says do what thou wilt. Yeah, I know, but the great work, uniting yourself with the source, well, that's a silly thing to say because you're already united with the source. And anyway, and I'm cutting to the disciple of Vivekananda said something like, I'm not quoting him word for word, it's not about an achievement. It's about discovery, or awareness, someone else would say, of things that already are, or that you already have. So And that kind of goes to every level. I rediscovered this dress that I managed to save somewhere, and I've been going through boxes of things, trying to straighten out and weed out a lot of stuff. We do have to get rid of a lot of off-house things because my diet's over 50. Can't store everything that I like. I don't have a house to add. It just making it very dangerous moment if we did. It would be archival up there, like the last garage was. But anyway, so I'm going through things and
finding neat stuff.
Yeah, finding neat stuff, and it's a voyage of discovery of stuff that I already had and wanted to see, but because we moved and everything was still in boxes for such a long time, I hadn't seen it, like the stuffed animals and things. So it's spurring creativity without spending money, which is a good thing. So I'm just going to encourage you all to discover something that you haven't looked at in a while, if you're lucky to have anything put away, whether it's for a long time or a short time, or something that you know, and discover something that maybe a trait of yours that you've put away and haven't used.
You've got treasures.
You have treasures in your consciousness that you haven't used in a while, maybe since you were 11.
and a kind of a funny thing.
It's a voyage of discovery this week. Let's go on a voyage of discovery instead of achievement. It's good to get things done because I'm getting things done while I'm discovering, but the achievement is the.
And we part of the things that you're uncovering.
You can turn it
are
around.
ancient. I have turned it around. Are ancient DuQuette stuffed animals that we're literally bringing back. They're now residents of our bed, and we've brought them back to life. And in a sense, they're bringing us back to life too.
Because I don't believe in inanimate objects.
There are no inanimate objects.
And
I'm the closest thing there is to an inanimate object.
And Lon makes the stuffed animals. We call them faux animals, so as not to, degrade them.
They're faux animals.
Lon says, and then they ask. And one of them asked, "What does faux mean?" And Lon said,
"Precious." Yeah,
like,
I'm not above lying to my to my stuffed animals.
On that note,
okay,
this is way more of triviality than they want to hear. Have a voyage of discovery this week.
Okay, that's a good thing to leave us with, and I'm turning it around now. Love your dress. Hope they appreciate.
You already did. I said you said you did.
I hope they appreciate it in the store.
Oh, I'm not doing it for that.
I hope they give you a runway to.
Oh yeah.
To strut
to
up.
Limp through.
To limp through your runway.
Okay.
Well, that's. You'll notice I'm dressed a little casually today because.
We'll continue for a few. Even more than usual.
Yes, you're lucky I've got anything on.
He's not sitting in here in his underwear.
No, but halfway. But I'm going to have to go in there in a little while, so I'll have to pull myself together. Good luck, dear. Get us something salty snack or
something salty.
Yes, something
to eat on
replenish our vital fluids. Yeah.
Our vital fluids. That would be a voice of this.
I need to replenish my reservoir of creative energy.
I threw my purse over my shoulder and went completely down to my feet to the ground.
There, I'm going to show that.
I do that.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Okay. All right. I'll be in just a little while just to stick my head in the freezer. Anyway, here we are. I I had a couple things I had planned on doing today, and one of them is concerns a book that I wrote a number of years ago, and it was published by Llewellyn. It was called Homemade Magic. And to my surprise, after a few years, Llewellyn let it go out of print. And it's as far as the records go, it sold good enough for comparable to other books that I sold. And it's got good reviews and things like that. But it's been out of print for years now. And the good folks at Next Millennium, or Magical Omaha, okay, these folks that published my tarot deck said, we'll publish it. And so I got all the paperwork and everything to have Next Millennium publish it, and I sent them, and it's stuck, okay, and I can't seem to get Next Millennium to return my calls or anything. I've left messages with them and said, let's talk about it at least, you know. But I'm sure they're busy because they've got more things to do. It's a very, very big and wonderful distributor of all things esoteric. But anyway, so it's stuck in limbo, and I was going to read a portion of a chapter that concerned improvising magical temples, and this particular chapter was improvising magical temples on the remotely. In hotel rooms, in motel rooms, in private homes, and doing so, constructing an entire varieties of magical temples, microcosmic temple, macrocosmic temple, planetary temple, elemental temple, just using a deck of tarot cards. And and so that's what I was going to read that section today, but I'm not, because we don't have time. So maybe I'll save that for tomorrow. But it doesn't even have to be a deck of tarot cards to create a magical circle. Okay, you can do it with a deck of plain cards, just using the pips, the ace through tens of the pip cards, and actually you don't even use the aces. Well, now I'm getting into it. No, what I want to read today to you is a brief, tiny excerpt from a brief, tiny book by Manly Palmer Hall. That's just called Magic. Now, if you're not aware of who Manly Palmer Hall was, he was brilliant. Most people know him through his work, his magnum opus, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. Almost everybody that I know, and everybody listening here, probably has a copy. It's now in paperback and quite affordable. It's wonderful. It's marvelous. It's a marvelous resource. Now, Manly Hall, he's no longer with us, but we saw him speak at his headquarters in Los Angeles many years ago, 50-some years ago, maybe. And just to hear him speak, and he could just speak just right off the top of his head for like 3 hours that go by like 15 minutes. Okay, no notes, no anything. He just, and here's the history of the universe, and just a wonderful guy. But he came from sort of the Hollywood in the 1930s genre occultism. Okay, that was the culture of occultism in those days, and it was steeped heavily and influenced heavily by the Blavatsky and the Theosophists. Okay, and they were just starting to get into yoga and things like that. It was just at the dawn of all of this stuff. And but it was Boris Karloff magic kind of thing. It was the mummy and that was the atmosphere of esotericism in those days, and it started to be something that we recognize today with the development of H. Spencer Lewis's Rosicrucian Order, Amorg, which was sort of like Golden Dawn Light, okay? And but Manly Hall wrote a book about magic and the difference between white magic and black magic, okay? And those terms in those days in the public imagination had a almost completely inaccurate and incomplete view of those terms. So the audience he was writing for, and this little booklet was published in 1960, but it was probably written in the 30s and maybe even the 20s. And anyone who is familiar with the Philosophical Research Society may be able to correct me exactly when he penned this. I just want to read a couple of pages at the very beginning, because he boldly tries to set the record straight about Satan and Lucifer and things that were hinted of by, like, Albert Pike of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Christians nowadays, he's talking about, it's a Luciferian, and Baphomet and the devil, and that's the audience Manly Hall was writing for, and at the same time he wanted to be as cosmically correct as possible. And I have no doubt that the depth of his understanding would fit in just perfectly, and he would be very comfortable with how the art of Western esotericism has developed these many years later. I'm going to start. There are a couple of drawings. Now, of course, you can't. They're drawings like this. Okay. Black magic, white magic. And then the top thing says the mental plane. Next one down, the astral. Next circle is the etherical plane. And the bottom one is the physical world. Now, you might recognize that series of circles, as you can easily form a nice tree of life out of those landmarks created by those circles. And look at this one. Okay, this one probably chilled the bones of 1930s blue-haired theosophists. Look at that. Now, Kabbalists will recognize the little center points in all of those. The bottom one's Earth, one above that is the moon, one above that on his chest is the sun, and the one right at the center of the very top circle is Saturn. Now, if you've been listening to me for the last 4 years or whatever it is now, you know that I think the concept of the Saturn and Binah, number 3 on the tree of life, is so incredibly important. And truly, the transcendent source, that black Saturn who ate his children rather than give them the opportunity to manifest, how important that is. And I always hold up a little cube of space with like a black bead in the center with the pipe cleaners and all of that, and saying this Saturn, it's a planetary sphere when you spit it out on the tree of life, but it's not like any other planetary sphere. It doesn't play on the same playground as Jupiter and Mars and Sun and Venus and Mercury and Luna. But anyway, look at this one. Satan, Lucifer, Hiram. That's Hiram as in Hiram Abiff, right there in the heart chakra area. And then man at the very bottom. And Satan is airborne, Lucifer fireborne, Hiram is waterborne, and man earthborne. Now, all systems aren't comfortably co-referential. And Manly Hall, in his little statements here, is using terminology that is consistent and true within his self-referential system that he's talking about. But he often uses the same terms that within my self-referential systems means something different, maybe not entirely different, but different, okay? So keeping all of that in mind, here's what he says. Part 1, children of the false darkness. For ages, man has labored under a misunderstanding. He is called the perversion of occult power, black magic. This is an improper use of the word black, for black does not mean evil. Black is the basic root, not color. Root, not color. Black is the basic root, not color of all things. It is the source of all being and represents the body of the absolute intelligence. All consciousness and light are born out of the chaotic blackness and cosmic night. With its dark pralaya, that's a Hindu term for the universe that just taking a break. It's dark, born out of chaotic blackness and the cosmic night with its dark pralaya is the father-mother of creation. Black darkness must forever shroud the workings of the infinite. And no matter how much light there is in the human soul, it is forever surrounded with the dark, seething substance of chaos. All manifestation is a concretion of dark and unmeasured possibility. That's pretty hot stuff, Manly Hall. Second paragraph. The children of the dark birth who labor in the blackness of this substance, molding it into myriads of unseen and unmeasured forms, are not evil. They are the sons of Saturn, Satan, and the Black Father, who, like the very darkness of chaos itself, must in time swallow all his creations, and in doing so bring them back to life again from the death that men call creation. We are all born out of this dark abyss and have no right to call it evil. It is the parent of gods and men, forever wrapped in the unexplorable robes of its own mystery. Out of this blackness, nature's unfathomed treasure house, man must exhume the stone of his own soul, in the same way that a miner removes the diamond from its sheath of black carbon. Gotta admit, he was on a roll here. Okay. 3. The Dark Lords of Saturn are the builders of the first dawn, the morning of blackness, and from the friction of their strivings were born the first flaming sparks of dawning consciousness. They were the mind-born that are the Brahmins of our chain of globes, being delivered from the brain and the mouth of Brahma. Their throne is made up of solid substance and the chemicals of solid matter. They are the satanic outpourings, the spirit of cold darkness. In the diagram that follows, and it's this one right here, okay, it's called the macrocosmic man, the four births out of the body of Brahma. In the diagram that follows are shown the four births which have come out of the body of Brahm. And he spells it capital B, small r, and then all caps A-U-M. Brahm. The unknown blackness, the X of being. There is a false darkness and a true darkness. The true darkness is the womb of light. The false darkness, the perversion of the light that pours out of the true darkness. Natural darkness is the basic principle of things, while the false darkness is the result of debasing the powers of the angels of Satan. The devil, the archetype of misuse, is not the son of Saturn, but a son of man. And the false darkness of the earth. Man is the incarnation of the germ of mental intelligence, and black magic is possible only to intelligent beings. The absolute spirit, minus all the sheaths and of vehicles, uninformed and uncompounded, is true darkness. True darkness. The dimensionless basis of all that is, has been, or ever shall be, and the ultimate veil behind which all creation must retire. Just like that Saturn universe card at the very end, the zero at the very end, the dancer in that oval zero, where it all jumps back into pre-existence through that hoop, and then jumps back through the fool's zero to start it. Okay. Absolute crystallization is the false darkness and is the colorless vibration at the lower end of the spectrum, opposing the colorless vibration at the upper end of the spectrum. Both ends ultimately are swallowed up in darkness, one in the darkness of spirit and the other in the darkness of matter. Life lives in darkness and dies in light. Form lives in light and dies in darkness. But in dying really comes to life. For life as we know it is pure death. Natural darkness is unawakened possibility. False darkness is perverted opportunity. I just read that over this morning, and because I bought this thing in like 1972 or something like that. And I looked at it in a whole different Kabbalistic way. And I got to give kudos to Manly Hall, who, I don't know where Manly Hall really came from, but he was something else, okay? Now, they say he went to Mexico and died, and they had to bring his, and there was rumors and accusations that he died under mysterious circumstances. But in a sense, that's not important at this point, because thanks to the efforts of his organization, his works are being perpetually republished. And if you're not looking for a textbook or text material that is going to easily fit into whatever self-referential system that you're using, and can just sort of put the environment Palmer Hall was writing for and writing within, he just gets better year after year. Well, anyway, that's it. It's starting to get hotter than hell. We'll see you tomorrow, and then I'll talk about how to take a regular deck of playing cards and make yourself a real live, bona fide, full-blown magic circle to do your meditations in or do your work in. Anyway, until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Oh, by the way, I've gotten several requests for a printout of yesterday's my daily prayer thing. I've posted it right here on Facebook in the comment section under yesterday's video. And if you watched it on YouTube, I've also posted it in the comment section, the whole thing in the comment section of the YouTube video of yesterday's. So it's just YouTube, Lon Milo DuQuette, daily prayer, you'll get to it. Anyway, see you tomorrow. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will.